was a time when Columbus was described in relation to its distance from better-known Ohio cities like Cincinnati or Cleveland, or by how remarkably unremarkable it was. But those days are long gone. Today, Columbus is happening. Today, Columbus is undergoing the kind of cultural resuscitation that captured the likes of places like Austin and Portland decades ago. And it's home to a burgeoning fitness scene thanks to over 150 miles of connected multi-use trails in and around the city and numerous training programs catered by Fleet Feet Sports and Front Runner, the local running stores in town. Often described as the biggest small town in America, Columbus offers up a nice cocktail of homegrown maker with a twist of forward-thinking entrepreneurialism. So naturally I went, for 3 jam-packed days, to run as many trails as I could, visit as many of the local favorites for food and shopping as I could, and to get lost in the excitement of a major road marathon the city hosts every October. I'm Ashley Arnold, and this is Run This Town. This is Jeff Henderson. He's the manager of Fleet Feet Sports and Front Runner in Columbus, Ohio. We met at the North Star Cafe, a favorite among local runners. I'm here on a mission. If Columbus is as hip and exciting as people say it is, I want to know why. And as a runner and local businessman, Jeff's the guy who will know. Are you from Columbus?
I am. I grew up in Columbus. I grew up in a suburb called Worthington. It's on the north side of town. So born and raised.
And then how did you get involved with Fleet Feet?
So I was teaching, I was coaching, I had summers off, and I was constantly saying, hey, I'd love to volunteer at a race, like because I'd go run races, I'd see them, or I'd see them at the MIT training group. And eventually, probably about a year later, Jeff and then Tim Flahaven, the owner of the Columbus store, asked me out to dinner, and sure, why not? We went out to dinner, and in a roundabout way, they asked me what I wanted to do when I grow up, and I think I rambled on for probably an hour, and they said, you're hired. I said, what?
I don't even remember what I said.
Yeah, and I said, what you say sounds exactly like what we need. And 9 years later, here I am.
I mean, Columbus is very surprising to me. Like, when I think about Columbus, when I think about this area of the country, I've never really thought about, I guess, what it offers. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
You said 130 miles of bike trails, 115 of which are connected.
Yep.
Perhaps one of the largest running groups in the country. Like a thriving running community.
In the middle of the Midwest.
Like, how did this happen?
It really, I think it kind of showcases the passion within Columbus. Columbus is a really driven city. I think it was probably 8 or 9 years ago, Columbus was rated as like the 3rd fattest city in the United States. And a lot of Columbus residents didn't take too kindly to that. And Mayor Coleman was extremely instrumental in getting a lot of the communities together to take their efforts to build some of these trail networks and work together so that they could join a little bit easier and create some healthy, active outlets for folks.
On my first night in town, I went out to the trails at Alum Creek State Park. Here there are currently 13 miles and counting of single track built by Fleet Feet Sports and other supporters of the local trail running community. A dedicated group of runners not only trains on these trails, but puts time in, literally in the mud, to build and repair them. So I decided to pitch in.
So what we'll do is we'll move this tree that fell, and then let's clear out some of the debris, and then let's dig down. Actually, use the hoe to actually dig down some of the creek bed here, and then Then we can probably lay that bridge down back on top of it, see if we can kind of build up and over the water when it runs down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to ask him.
We had started doing some of the races, like trail races over at the mountain bike trail.
Okay.
That's kind of how everything started. And the first race we did there, it rained really hard, and it was just really not conducive to a good trail run and a good experience on the trail. So what actually we decided to do was investigate the possibility of just building our own trail. And so we met with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and they agreed to donate 500 acres of this side of the trail to us, and so we just started building.
Okay, if Drew loses an ankle, we need to slow him down anyway.
You know, a fall there would have been priceless. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah.
What happens then?
We're still doing it. Yeah, this is all us. Yeah.
Under evening sun, the trails here are magical. The sideways sun bounces off the water and dances with the trees, creating a fairy tale-ish glow that snakes through the woods. It's peaceful here. There aren't highway sounds, but full forest sounds of birds and breeze mixed with the constant hum of bugs vibrating the air. And at the end, the sound that closes the evening, a rolling clank of beer cans opening and toasting, a unanimous signal for the end of a solid trail run.
Columbus is definitely a locally grown town, and I know there's other communities that are like that. I'd argue that it'd be hard to beat a town like Columbus in terms of just the passion that kind of comes with that, and how a lot of the local business owners want to support each other and really build up our community. Columbus, I think, was rated like one of the coolest places to live as of recent, which again, it's Columbus, Ohio. We're in the Midwest. We don't have mountains. We don't have the ocean.
It's very flat, yeah.
It's very flat.
Which is good for Sunday, I want to say.
Which is fantastic for Sunday with the marathon.
A few people I've talked to so far will say, like, you know, people who have been relocated or have to come here, like, oh, you know, I want to go to Ohio, and they get here and they're like, oh my God, like Columbus is really cool.
Yeah, it's there's a lot to do. There's a lot of hidden corners.
And the book Loft.
The book Loft.
Why do you like the book Loft? You go there a lot, right?
I do go there a lot because I will literally wander around and get lost. And,
I got lost.
It's kind of fun to get lost in there. So I think there's either 23 or 32 rooms. I'm moderately dyslexic, so I kind of forget that.
I'm head over heels for books. And the Book Loft, which is actually one of the nation's largest independent bookstores, is now perhaps my favorite bookstore of all time. The brick building dates back to before the Civil War and has creaking uneven floors and low ceilings. Rows of bargain-priced books are piled high on a tree-covered patio.
I'm the owner of the Book Loft in German Village. We opened here 40 years ago. We only had 5 rooms at that time, and we've expanded to 32 rooms, and it's a block long.
This sort of place is problematic for me. Room after room is filled with individual themes and book after book enticing me to open their pages. So I got lost. And I found more books, and before I knew it, the stack in my arms was so high I could no longer carry them all. So I did the responsible thing, of course, and I bought all of them. Despite the exorbitant amount of reading I clearly had ahead of me, I met up with Jeff and went for a run. Because after all, that's why I'm here and that's what I do. And because in our interview earlier in the week, Jeff gave me a list of the must-visits. This is Antrim Park, The trail surrounds a quarried lake of fishable rainbow trout amidst 120 acres. The Olentangy Greenway Trail does connect Antrim Park and several other major city parks through a seamless walk, run, and bike commuter highway of over 100 miles. Countless tributaries spur off into various city districts too, setting the stage for Columbus to be one of the most energy-efficient commuter cities in the country.
So if you were to say there's 4 parks like that you have to hit when you come, you'd say?
Audubon,
Okay.
the Scioto Audubon Park. Schiller Park, of course, in German Village, which you can also get, it's a mile from the Scioto Audubon Park.
Okay.
You have to go to Bicentennial Park and Genoa Park. They're effectively the same park. They're right in downtown Columbus, so right along the river. Then, of course, there's Goodale Park in Victorian Village.
Cool.
And this is High Banks Metro Park, 1,159 acres of green space just north of the city. It's named after the shale bluff that extends tall over the Olentangy State Scenic River here, and 10 plus miles of walking, running, and biking trails weave through the woods. Two parks and 2 runs later, we were in need of a recharge. We visited several smart and creative establishments I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anywhere else.
My name is Jared Bashan. I'm co-owner of Hoof-Hearted Brewery and Kitchen in Italian Village in Columbus, Ohio.
First up, Hoof-Hearted. Yep, despite the center-like logo, the name is meant to sound exactly how it sounds. Who farted?
So we're a full-service brew pub. We have a full kitchen, brewery, and we have a pool.
The place is modern and sleek and minimalistic with miniature pieces of cartoonish art on the walls and big flavor beers. They also have literally the best plate of homemade corn and plantain chips with guac that I have ever had.
Yeah, and what about like the German Village, the Italian Village, short north? There's all these little districts.
Yeah, so we have German Village, Marion Village, Victorian Village. All of these kind of are centered around High Street, which runs, the north and south corridor of Columbus. And all these districts have kind of a pretty unique feel. And within each of those, then you have a bunch of really cool restaurants and shops, all locally owned and operated shops. There's such an emphasis on locally grown, whether it's locally grown or if it's shirts that are printed here in Columbus. We've got great partners that are doing awesome things in our community.
Hi, my name is Andy. I'm the assistant janitor at the Grandview Theater and Draft House. People walk by our storefront every day. Some people even come in. They enjoy our bar, where we have 40 craft, specialty, yummy beers. They also enjoy movies. We show movies. We have a movie theater, where we show movies, and a bar, where people drink beers.
Next, the Grandview Theater and Draft House. This place, along with its sister theater, Studio 35 Cinema, is hipster movie-going at its finest. They have live music and over 39 brews on tap, and they use real butter on their popcorn that's made fresh every single day. Oh yeah, and they play movies, and often host runs and running events. What could be better? Speaking of running events, the Columbus Marathon passes down this street. I can't believe I haven't mentioned it until now. It's this race with 18,000 participants when you combine entrants in both the full and the half. You've probably heard of it. It's perhaps one of the largest marathons in the country. And not only was it happening during our visit, also the day after my birthday, but my sister Lauren was running it. In fact, she flew from Montana just to run it.
Is there any half registration still open?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
If you want to sign up right here.
No, I haven't. Right.
Yeah, it's not like she'll be coming.
And she could still be in the top 10 and a half.
Yeah, if she's in A, you'll be fine. Okay. And if she's in something
I'm going to call my sister, and I can pick up her packet for her if she sends me her photo ID. Shoot, she's not answering. picture of your photo ID, and I can pick up your packet for you right now. Let's see.
And this is my sister and my nephew, Simon. And this is my mom on the left, yep, the one being pulled out of the car, and my brother-in-law's mom on the right. Lou, my brother-in-law, is pulling her out. I'm still not sure why or how this happened, but she was sitting under a bunch of stuff that couldn't be moved, I guess. And this is Marguerite, my niece. Where else to meet but the local running store, Fleet Feet, to get any last-minute necessities before the race, like a sports bra my sister forgot, a pair of socks, even some shoes, maybe a watch, and a whole lot of goose.
Is that one made with a teal band also?
As a matter of fact, it is, but we don't.
You don't have it. Oh, wait. I'm gonna have to come back. Remember I left my wallet?
Race mornings are always the same routine. Wake before sunrise, try to eat something you can't stomach because you're too nervous, drink coffee, use the bathroom, repeat last step over and over and over and over until you get to the start line, and then maybe again. Yep, the same every time. And every time I question my sanity.
Have a fantastic race, ladies and gentlemen. If you see four buffoons riding in a pedicab, that's us. We'll be cheering you on, so we can't wait to see you.
Thankfully, in this instance, I was not behind the starting line, but I still had to wake up early.
Have a wonderful race, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to do fantastic. Woo! Yes! All right, on my team! Have a fantastic race, everybody. Go get them. Yes, we're being lazy today, but we're going to be cheering you on like no one else. Have a fantastic race, ladies and gentlemen. First promise, a mimosa. I see no mimosa. I don't know that we're going to be able to get across. Guys, way to run, way to run, way to run. Go get him, go get him. Nice job, Jack. Nice work, guys. Way to run, way to run. You look amazing. Keep it rolling. Nice job, Scott. Love the shoes. That guy riding on a spare wagon tire? What is that? Way to go! You guys are doing great.
And then my sister told me mid-stride that she was switching from the half to the full marathon. It was going to be an interesting day. At about mile 18, things turned serious. Lauren wasn't really ready for this race. She hadn't been training much, so she was hurting.
How are you feeling? Good job, Lauren. You look really good. Good job.
It's the best feeling in the world to help your sister run a race, especially when she's running in third place at a major road marathon.
You got it, Lauren. It's gonna be your best marathon yet.
This way.
More than just coming to cheer my sister on, though, it was incredible to see the camaraderie of the entire city coming together behind one cause. Since 2012, the marathon has raised more than $6 million to support the Columbus Nationwide Children's Hospital. And so it's not just about running a PR or running to be in the top 3 or whatever it is you have as a goal. It's about bringing your community together. And Columbus nailed that.
To be frank, it sounds like you guys are a big deal.
I mean, we are. No,
But you've done a lot. I mean,
we have.
If you're having 500, 800 people in your training groups every weekend, you're part of the largest running group in the country.
Yeah. I think we look at it a little bit differently than everybody else.
Yeah.
I think it all comes back to motivation. You know, if it's selling shoes, you're just going to sell shoes. If you're passionate about the community, there's a lot more that can be done. And it's, we can get a lot of people moving. We can choose to focus on the 250,000 folks that we know are running and pursuing active lifestyles in Columbus, or I could focus on the 800,000 that we know are at or above the obesity level. Yeah. And frankly, that's what my passion is I need to find more avenues to get people out and active and live a healthy, active lifestyle.
After 3 days of nonstop adventure in Columbus, connecting with the breath in a yoga class was my perfect ending.
Bring your hands to heart center.
These days are all
Bring the breath into the lower belly and let the breath rise up into the ribs and the chest. And then empty from the top down.
In my head,
Repeat the 3-part breath, drawing the breath into the lower belly, ribs and chest.
It was the first chance for the excitement of the past few days to settle in and assimilate.
Flow from invading all the space that there is in my head. I guess I'm still overthinking.
Take a moment to set an intention for your recovery, for what's next. When you have that intention, let it expand with each inhalation and return it to your heart center with each exhalation.
That would help you stand taller, and I
Columbus, I will be back.